Here we go. Welcome, everybody, to the Sexy Freedom Media Podcast. It's your host, Helen Edwards. And today I have a very special guest. His name is Ryan Roman. Introduce yourself, Ryan.
What's up, guys? Ryan Roman here. Thank you so much, Helen. Yeah, so
Yeah.
uh, I'm Ryan Roman. Sorry, super awkward, right? I am Ryan Roman. I am I don't know, what do I call myself? I'm a certified group fitness trainer. I am an ecstatic dance facilitator and DJ. I'm a dance teacher. I'm a motivator. I'm an entrepreneur. I am a savior of animals and all creatures. I don't know if you can see my macaw back there. That's handsome. So yeah, that's Ryan Roman in a nutshell.
Wow, it's so exciting to have you on. I've known you for a while, but not really known you. I think I met you one time, and then we kind of
Yeah,
connected more on social medias. And I've watched you. Your energy is so contagious. I feel like we have a very matching energy, and I'm always
yeah.
drawn towards that. So it's really great when I see it, elsewhere, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're just alike. He's so cool. Like, oh my gosh. And but what was really cool that I've kind of seen you transition a little bit through social media only, but I saw when you transitioned up to, is it Taylor, Arizona? Is that where it's at now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
And then also, I'm not sure, correct me if I'm wrong. I thought I saw you doing more yoga when I met you, and now you're doing a group fitness and you're instructing it. So one of the things I
Yeah.
wanted to talk about today was what you said in your bio was healing or heal through movement. And then I want to talk about the ranch, or I'm not sure what to call it, the
The
animals in a
sanctuary.
second. But yeah, but first the healing through movement. Tell me about what what your drive is towards that.
Yeah, so I moved to Arizona in, I guess, 2010. I was on a dance tour and I had just a great opportunity after high school and college to tour with some major names in the industry. And it just like afforded me this opportunity that I thought, I'm going to be, on tour with Janet Jackson and getting it. I definitely was going that route. And when I was in it, it turned out to be the like worst experience of my life, and it made me
Mm,
almost stop dancing. And I was like, why am I, I'm living the dream, I'm supposed to be super super happy, and I was not happy at all. And luckily, you know how the universe puts you in the right place at the right time. We were in Arizona for one of my last dance tours, and they said, you can go home or you can try it out here. And I was like, I didn't know anyone here. It was hot. Yeah, I'm from West Virginia, where we get all seasons. You can look at a tree and tell what season it is here. And Arizona, you don't have that here, so it was just so different. So I was like, let me try it here. Um, so I moved here. Only knew like one person. Uh, the dance community here just was like very big. I'm from a super super small town, and what do they say? Big fish in a small pond or
small
whatever.
pond.
And then you move, yeah, and then you move to a place that has a bigger population, and it's just, I was just flooded with all this, dance talent everywhere, and it was great to see. But I kind of took this like little shock to the heart, like I wasn't good enough to like live up to these people who were doing it. And so I sort of took a step back in the dance world, and I just started teaching again. And again, the universe puts you right where you need to be. And I taught in Avondale at this dance studio that didn't do dance competitions. They only did like two recitals a year. And I was like, this is so different than what I was taught growing up, because, it's competition dance, you're number one in everything. And this dance studio was all about like, just dance. Like, we just want these kids to dance. And I was like, that was a hard concept for me to understand at first.
Mm.
But just, seeing the look on these kids' face when I would just walk in there and show them a hard move, and by the end of that 45 minutes, like, they had it. It's like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, you know what I mean? Like that brought me so much more joy. And that was just like, it taught me so much about taking competition out of the dance world and just doing it for art. So that was my first instinct. And then you know, I Arizona is full of the yogi-ese and, the metaphysics and all of that. And I had some friends who were just like, come to yoga and try this and try hot yoga and try, all this stuff. And I was definitely one of those people who, I just like to try. I'll say yes to anything, that's safe and cool.
Yeah.
So I was out there, trying the Arizona experience, and I really fell in love with not only yoga but healing, that I saw just all these people doing.
Mm.
And I was like, I got to get out, I guess I need to figure out my healing, I guess I have some stuff, and of course we all go through. So I was introduced to, just in the yoga world, I was introduced into the ecstatic dance world through my now mentor, Nina Smith. Um, and she invited me to what she called a Sunday a Sunday dance church. And I was like, what is that? Like, I was super interested in just faith for one, but like dance, and then you put this like, healing on top of it. I was like, what is this all about? And she just basically explained it as like yoga's cool sister. And I was like, what?
Mm.
Like, I have to get into that. Like, I loved yoga for one, but more, just dancing. I was like, I'm super interested. So I went to my first ever ecstatic dance 2 hour, class. And I was just blown away at these people who were dancers but could also move their body in this way that I couldn't. I mean, I had danced since I was 3 years old, since I was out of the womb, and seeing all these people on the floor just so free was, I mean, like, it brings emotion to me now when I think back to it. Like, that first time walking onto the floor, I was just so, like, every emotion. I was scared, I was confused, I was like, what is dance anymore? Like, this is so interesting and scary, and like, and so um I didn't go back probably for a good month, just because it was definitely, it was out of my realm, you know what I mean? I saw these people just like, ecstatic dance is definitely a different, people come there to process everything, and it's nonverbal, and it's just, very free movement. And I think it's the freedom of dancing without restrictions is what really drew me to it. And then when you
Mm.
throw on this therapeutic healing on top of it, it was just like, wow, I'm not, as you probably can't tell, I'm not a big talker, but I can move my body, you know what I mean? And so just to really dive into that, I was super, super scared. And so I didn't go back for probably a month and a half. And I had another friend reach out to me and say, you should come back to, a static dance class. I think it'd be good for you. And you know how people are always like, oh, you need yoga, or you need, breathing or whatever. Like, they were
Yes.
literally, I need to dance. Like, I need to let go. And I was like, but I teach dance. Like, I don't need to do. I was so
Mm.
headstrong about like, no, I don't need this. I'm a dance teacher. I'm going to do, I was, I was professional. That's what I was taught. You go in with an 8 count and choreography and all this. And so to go in blank, I was so scared every time. And so I guess my friend had reached out to Nina, the facilitator at the time, and she just reached out to me, and she really explained to me that it wasn't about these people telling me to come and heal myself and you need this and you need that. It was just a moment for me to be free and express anything that I didn't need to, that I hadn't expressed through therapy, through talking to friends, through any of those modalities that I had already tried. She was like, just try something different. And so when she explained it to me like that, I was like, I'm in, let's do it.
Yes.
And it became my life. Just healing through movement. I was so interested in this therapeutic way of letting go and releasing your emotions into the dance without, there's no choreography, there's no 8 counts, there's nothing to learn, there's no steps. It's the most freeing and grounded thing I've ever done in my life. And it, again and again, it saves my life. I come back to it. Anytime I'm feeling down, anytime I'm feeling happy, anytime I'm feeling any kind of emotion where I need to ground that down, I'll dance it out. And it
Yeah.
has really through everything in my life. So the practice that I do is called conscious ecstatic dance, but there's a branch of it called Five Rhythms. The creator, Gabrielle Roth, great teacher of this modality. And she just explains it. Basically, there's these 5 rhythms of life that you just dance through. And basically, when you get up to when you lay down and go into your dream state, you're doing those rhythms throughout life. And even if you're a lawyer, if you're a yoga teacher, if you're, a heart surgeon, you are constantly doing that dance. And when I learned that, that's when I basically let everything go. And this person just started to emerge of like, I'm 30 years old right now. And I'm like, I really like enjoy myself and I really like what I've created.
Hmm.
And I credit all of that to the ecstatic dance conscious five rhythms dance world. Again and again, and to save my life. It's basically,
Yeah.
and this is what I think, is it like, how you explain things to like a little kid? If you're explaining this to a little kid, it's basically like going into your room, turning on your favorite like jam, favorite album, and just rocking, like, can I cuss? Rocking the
Yeah.
hell out. Yeah,
Yeah.
rocking the hell out. And just laying all your shit down and like sweating your prayers and just like releasing that. When you sweat, you release, but when you like, when you dance and all those endorphins and hormones like rise to the top, it's like a volcano. And just like, I've seen tears. I've seen, not to be gross, but people almost throw up on the floor because it's that letting
Hmm.
go. And I,
Hmm.
I, I love all modalities. I love yoga. I love breath work. I love it all. But dance has really, and it goes back to that old saying, I think it's like a super Native American saying, when you were sick and you would come to the village elder and he would ask you, like, when did you stop singing? When did you stop dancing? When did you
Mm.
stop like having fun and telling stories? And that's what dance is for me. Um, it's so healing. Sorry, I could talk about it
Yeah, I
forever.
could tell. No, I love it. I love that we're talking about ecstatic dance. I've done ecstatic dance. I did ecstatic dance in Oregon when I was there, and it's the first time that I
Oh,
experienced it. And I had a very similar experience. I was kind of like, what I mean, what I felt I was more self-conscious of it. And I think you know, what I've learned from it, I don't do it as much as you do. And I wish it was, you know, okay. So here's the thing. I just caught myself saying I wish I could do
yeah.
it more. And what you were just saying is it's a freedom. It's a freedom of expression through dance. And so my question to you right now is for me to say I wish I could do it more, or anybody else out there who's like, well, I wish I could do it, but there's no static dances classes out here.
Yeah,
Tell us a solution to that.
totally. And so when you say that you don't do it, I'm like, I see your stories. You do it. Do you know what I mean? And that's the thing about ecstatic dance is that like you could be washing dishes and just like the rhythm of like the water running, that's your
Mm,
little jam right there. If you just need to shake it out, that is your conscious ecstatic dance, like little let go for just a minute. And
okay.
so during COVID time, everything was really closed, and just the way there's all these branches of ecstatic and conscious dance movement now. I mean, there's contact where like people are touching, and there's just different things now, and we really had to find new ways to do our practice, but at home, in restrictions. And so that's when the whole Zoom thing happened, and everybody was doing that, and me and my friend Lita. we created digital dance breaks, and we were doing this every Tuesday and Wednesday for just 15 minutes on Instagram. We would come on there and we would just throw on some music, like just 15 minutes of whatever, just what we were feeling at the time. And we would just groove and shake it. And that's, I mean, for somebody who doesn't have a dance background, who doesn't have the, how do I get to an ecstatic dance class? How do I find this information? You are dancing already. You are doing the work already. I
Mm.
can already tell you that. It's when you hear your favorite song on the radio and you're in the car and you've got that little head bob, that's your conscious, like your little groove. What I will say to people is that when you start doing that, take a thought of like, all right, what am I feeling in my
Mm.
body? Okay, let's go a little deeper. That little 2 minute, Britney Spears, whatever song you got going on. Like, yeah, it makes you snap, but how does this snap relate to like my hand and my body
Mm.
and my whole body as a self? This is a vehicle. I say it all the time. Like, we get manuals when we get a new cell phone, when we get a new car, all this stuff. Nobody gave us manuals for this. And so I
Yeah.
feel like dance is sort of this like hidden map and manual of like, okay, so I have some tension in my shoulder. Let me move with that. Let me see if I can,
Mm.
shake it up. There's so many different ways that you could go about it. And so I tell people all the time, you're dancing all the time. You're doing your conscious rhythm all the time. It's just being a little bit more aware of it. Surgeons, when they're, working on hearts and stuff, they're totally tuned into that. That's their dance. You can't
Mm.
like discredit any of that. And that's why I say, you know, any profession, you know what I mean? You could be the mopper at McDonald's, you could be, heart surgeon, whatever. You're constantly dancing in your rhythm, because we all have that heartbeat, and that
Mm.
beat is what keeps us going, that flow. And just, it gets
Whoa.
weird.
Yeah, I love it. I'm telling you, like I have not heard it this way ever. Ryan, I'm kind of blown away right
I
now.
really, I really try to, because we can get so heady about all these, healing and modalities, and it's all great. But when we simplify it to the bare bones, okay, it's dance. It is letting go. It's releasing. It is, it's breath. It's body parts. It's bones. These are basic things, and that's why, like, when I do events, when I do conscious events, I really try to, I do the slide and scale, but I also try to make it like accessible for everyone, just to have access to that. Because again, dance is free, breathing is free, living is free, healing is free. That freedom is allotted to everybody, every person, every single being. And that's just, I've always thought that. It took me, the dance and all that healing to get here, but I'm so happy to realize that. And just, I wish everyone could just have this. People say even my worst enemy, I don't care who it is, I wish in all of my hearts that they could like put their best favorite music on and just go into a room, lock it, and again dance like nobody's watching, because they deserve that
Yes.
that freedom.
No, you're
Yeah.
so right. Dance definitely is a big part of my life. I've been dancing since a kid, not professionally, just, I've always felt the music, and that's why I dance on all my videos. And I wrote a whole chapter in my
Yeah,
book about dancing. And I believe
I
in
love
dance in
that.
the home environment. But I love the way everything you just explained about, just because my boyfriend just is always dancing around the house. And sometimes I get moody. I have
Yeah.
moody days, and he's just over there like, with no music on, and I'm just like, oh, but then it's funny. And that it's like, it'll change my whole mood. And same thing with people who
Yeah.
watch me or you dance, I'm sure they always say, oh, you're so full of energy and you're so vibrant. And I mean, yeah, I am when I'm feeling it, but when I'm not,
Yeah.
what you just said about the rhythm of the heartbeat and that conscious of that alone is probably going to definitely probably help me a lot right now, and many of our listeners, that you are dancing, and it's almost like you just got to amplify it or level up on that dance. And connect it with not just the heartbeat, with the bones and the skin, the flesh, the energy around you. And that's so beautiful. I love it. I just want to go dance now.
Yeah, just do it.
It
I
does
mean,
change a
I'm
mood though.
all, people used to, when I was younger, people would ask my mom, like, is he ADHD? Like, he just won't, I would always constantly just be like,
Hmm.
ah, 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 like what, and that's just, me, that's my natural state, I guess, or whatever.
Hmm.
And it's the same for anybody else. People are always like, God, I wish I could just dance like that. And I'm like, you're doing it. If you're, mowing the grass, that's your dance right now. You know what I mean? I'm not always
Mm.
like this. There's also, and all the chaos of the world and all of that, we talk about this in five rhythms practice. There's stillness in that center point of the heartbeat, in that, your still point. And we always have to remember, in this world of ascending and taking off, how are we supposed to like come back down and be solid if this foundation is not solid, And sometimes you
Mm.
just gotta be still and be in that dance for a minute. And it's
True.
like I said, it's all woo woo and whatever, but
Yeah.
it's just life, you know.
Well, hey, I
I love,
climbed the woo-woo tree, so it's okay.
I love it.
So I'm gonna
I love
shift it
it.
over just for a second. The I want to touch base on your animal kingdom because that
Okay.
was
Yes,
it's really fascinating. Tell us about that.
thank you. Yeah, so me and my partner, we got together and just discussing our 5-year plan. We like to do that every 5 years, just sit down and see what our plans are. He was just really interested in getting a place where he was always a savior of animals since we young boy. Um, and I really wanted a space where I could host some conscious dance events, just in a big field, like lower scale Burning Man, but more, super more conscious and just really into the yoga, into the dance, into the embodiment. And like I wanted a place with that had land that I could do that. And so we just thought like, let's just buy a piece of land. And so I was like, but like, am I really gonna buy land? Like I was at that point, I think we were looking for an apartment or something like that, like downsizing. And I was like, what is going on? Like, what's happening? And we had some friends in Concho Valley and we had visited up here a couple of times. And my partner, actually was really interested in the egg business. Um, so I just like to tell people this story because it all connects. So
Yes.
he got ulcerative colitis, UC, which is a intestinal disease, and you can't really eat a lot of things. And the one thing that he could eat was eggs. And so he was just like, "Let's get some chickens." And I was like, "What? Like what? Like a real chicken? Like, yeah, let's just get some chickens." We're like living in North Scottsdale. I'm like, okay, like where are we gonna put this? So we got like 12 chickens. We put them in the backyard, started getting eggs. It was really good for his stomach. And, we just wanted more, we just wanted more eggs for one. And then also we did our 5-year plan. He wanted to rescue more animals. I then wanted more land to do that. We knew our friend in Concho Valley, so we started coming up here more in Snowflake Taylor area. And it's really funny because the place I am from is 150% like this town that I live in now. And I said, I'll never go back home. Like, I'll never, whatever. Um, it's funny how it all works out. So we did that. We found our piece of land. We wrote a grant because he really wanted to save wild horses and horses from the
Mm.
kill pen. So we wrote a grant to the USDA. That got approved. We got some land. We opened up our egg business because we just got more chickens. And eventually, the grand total now, I think we have about 450 chickens. There is 8 goats, 7 pigs, 9 horses, 3 mini donkeys, 2
Oh,
donkeys, a macaw, a couple dogs, turkeys, guinea fowls. Just really, it's a zoo. It's a zoo. We basically got a zoo. Um, but it's just been really, really amazing to see just the transformation of just ourselves and the animals. And yeah, like I love it up here. We do really good work. I will say I'm proud of the work that my partner and I do, most of all him. I mean, to rescue some of these horses who are found just neglected and emaciated and,
mm,
barely walking. And now they're like, I mean, our animals are pretty happy. Our vet said the other day, these animals could go 2 weeks without being fed and they'll be okay. Like they're fat and happy. So it's just amazing to see that. So we called our sanctuary Great Spirit Animal Sanctuary. And
mm,
so we really try to provide that forever home for neglected and or abused animals to live out their life, because that's the number one thing for some of these animals is that when they get older, there's nowhere there for them to
mm.
go. And so we just try to provide that, especially for older horses. That's our heart right there,
Mhm.
just especially in Arizona. It's just amazing, amazing the the horse's spirit for one, and then for
I'm getting
two, when
kind
you
of
see them abused and
emotional.
neglected, when you
Oh
see
my
them abused and
gosh.
neglected, it's just like, how can people do this for one? And
Mm,
then, you want to give them, the best life that they can have after that. And so, yeah, Tom, that's my partner. He's just done a really, really good job on that. And it's also helped me just, connect more. Horses are healing in themselves. And I've been told that when people come here, I have friends still in the valley, and they'll come up and they'll just say like, at one point in time when they're driving, they just feel this weight has lifted off their shoulders, and then they
mm,
come here and like they touch a horse, and just like you'll see just this ease like overflow them. And people have told me like there's just something super super calm and magical
mhm.
about the animals here on this property.
Oh,
And
I bet.
they yeah. Yeah, even
Wow.
the roosters. We've got a couple of roosters, but they're not like they're just super calm. And I mean, I'm from West Virginia. I've seen all kinds of animals, and you know, yeah,
Yeah.
they're definitely a
Wow.
sanctuary of healing here.
Well, shout out to Tom and you. That you're doing fantastic work. I mean, I got emotional because just the heart that you have behind it. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not an animal person. I've never been an animal person, but when I hear like I've looked in the eyes of animals though, and I could see there's a being in them, there's a heart, there's a conscious in them. And what you were talking about with healing, through the dance, and then now this, I think through my own healing, I've been able to connect more with animals, not as much as a lot of people, but slowly. And when you're
Yeah,
talking about the animals getting older and there's no place for them to go, and they're often discarded, and it is really sad. And you're able to save them, and that's just like, oh, it's like really beautiful. That is a great spirit work right there. So thank you for everybody who loves animals. Thank you too for them. That's amazing. And
yeah, thank you so
uh
much.
so my mom has a
I'll
40
definitely
acre
say,
ranch.
so,
Huh?
oh, nice. I'll say I wasn't like I wasn't an animal person either.
Oh, okay.
I mean, this is no farmer Dan here, okay? I might be from West Virginia, I might talk country, but this is a total city boy right here, okay? And
Yeah.
so, I mean, it's very. I was, there are some times where I'm just like, oh wow, like this, but the animals just pull you in, and they let you know that you can do it. They let you know that it's going to be okay.
Mm.
Um, and so yeah, I wasn't an animal person either, and now I have a macaw in my office.
I saw him come out. That's awesome. No, what I was going to say is my mom has a 40 acre ranch, and she has not even like maybe 12 chickens. And they were like chasing me one day. Like they're little dinosaurs, like Joe Rogan says. They're pretty wild. So, and you have 450? Did I hear that right?
Yes, 400. So we also, to supplement the sanctuary, we also have the egg business. So it's all natural.
Mm.
They're free range. They can, we have 5 acres here, so they can roam up to 5 acres. Um, and yeah, it's been pretty awesome and pretty, I mean, we don't have attack chickens. Like I said, everybody's pretty calm. But it's just funny even to see the chickens dynamic. Like it's definitely like, we have a colony. I call it a colony in the front yard, and he's got his set of ladies, and then there's one back here, and he's got his set of ladies. Like it's just, little communities, and
Yeah.
it's so
Oh,
funny.
that's amazing. How far are you away from the nearest city?
So we are, I think so we're next to, do you know, north of Sholo? So we're
Yes.
north of Sholo, just about, I want to say probably an hour out from Sholo, and then we're 3 hours from Phoenix.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
and so for the sanctuary, if anybody is interested, we give tours. We love for volunteers to come up. We do events here. We actually are going to do on September 11th, we're going to have some authors come up, some children's books authors. So it's all kids, like a kids event, and they're going to have face painting, and they're going to read to kids, and kids can grab some books. And we just really try to be really into the community, and especially since we moved here and we found out that like this is a community that likes for you to be involved. Um, I am an African American Black man in a very, whitewashed, community, and that's okay because
Mhm.
I've always sort of lived that life. And so just to have so much of that support here and people to tell you that, it's very LDS, which, nothing wrong with that. I love people of faith. My mom
Right.
is Baptist herself. Um, just to have that support in a community like this when I didn't know if I was going to is
Mhm.
very humbling, and very like it puts you back in your shoes of like, wow, like people care for you, and there are kind
Mhm.
people out there in the world. Especially during this COVID time, it was just like, who's going to survive, who's not going to survive, and then to have this
Mhm.
community just really there for me. I mean, I've always had community there for me, especially in Phoenix with my dance community. Um, but to come here and to not know anybody, it was just beautiful. I mean, even we've had heavy rains here in Phoenix, and up in the north, like when it rains it's just muddy, and there's nowhere to go, and we just had our neighbor bring their tractor over and help us scoop the mud. Like it was without even asking. Like it's beautiful, so nice. I
Yeah.
live in like a Hallmark movie, I say.
Hey, I feel you on that so much because that's kind of like where I'm at right now in Casper, Wyoming. We have 5 acres
Yeah.
also, and it's a whole new world out here for me too. And I'm just like, when I first moved here, he had a cow, and I was just
Ah.
like, what? A cow? Oh my gosh.
What do we do?
Yeah. Well, my mom has horses, chickens, goats, cows, but I usually go visit. I kind of walk around with her while she
Right.
feeds them, or I'll help her feed them. And then I go back to Phoenix, or I go home, like back to the city. So it's like I go get my
It's
fix and then I'm
different when
done.
you live in it. Yeah,
Yes.
very different when you
Yes.
just live in the thick of it. You're like, I mean, sometimes I wake up and there's a chicken in the bathtub, and I'm like, okay, this is the day we're having. Like,
Yeah. How did you, how long have you been there on this animal farm, the Great Spirit Sanctuary?
so we've been here for going on 3 years now. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow, 3 years. And how was it with the transition to into it? How was it getting kind of like grounded, like you were talking about earlier, grounding and accepting this new life?
So you know how people say like you'll be talking about things and somebody will say, "Oh, that's a trauma." Like I had one of those light bulb moments where I was like, "Oh, I guess moving's a trauma." Like I didn't understand how, when you're living, in the city of Phoenix, like, you're able to, get Starbucks whenever you want. There's like a Costco and
Yes.
you can go to whatever. And so when I moved here, it was just like, okay, there's one Walmart, you know. I was used to seeing other people of color, but not to see anybody of color. I was kind of like, okay, like I need like, where's my safe person, and it was a trauma when I moved.
Mm.
I gained probably, I think it was 45 to like 50 pounds. Because I wasn't dancing for one.
Mm.
I had just moved away from my friends, from just everything I had really known to this area. I mean, I had my partner, but I didn't really have, that community yet.
Right.
And it was rough. It was really, really rough. I was doing enough just to get by. I'd wake up in the morning, do my little 15 minutes of meditation, I do my little 5 minutes of dance, and I'd be like, okay, I am good. Draw my card for the day and whatever. Do a little Reiki on myself. But
Yeah.
I was not really like telling myself, Ryan, like you just went through a trauma of moving, you just left everything behind. Um,
Mm.
and so once I, some processing, I really had to do some processing. Um, and it was I want to say my mom actually one day had said to me, like, I haven't seen you upload a dance video, or I haven't seen you upload a picture or
Mm.
something. Because, I'm very social online. Like, I like to keep it, I like to let everybody know what's going on. Because my family lives on the other half of the world. And so she hadn't seen anything. And she said, that's weird. That's, usually when you revert back to, your self-loathing and your, going back from childhood traumas, your mom knows ya.
Yeah.
And so she called me out basically. Yeah, she called me out and I was like, oh, I guess I haven't. And so once she said that, I had a talk with my partner and I sat down and was like, this is what I need to do, created a whole nother plan as to,
Mm.
how do I get over, not get over this, but how do I heal from this like trauma of moving, and still be able to be this person, this Ryan that I had already created that was, I was liking a little bit. And so I just pivoted a little bit. My life was so entwined into the healing, I mean, I was like going to like a meditation like every day. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's totally nothing wrong with that. But when it's like ripped away from you and then you're here by yourself, it was kind of daunting a
Yes.
little bit. And
Mhm.
so you know, still keeping the healing side, I just really wanted to focus on like losing weight and that like body image again. And I just really found solace in the gym. Our gym here, super, super small town, so nobody was in there. So I could just go in and get it, and not really talk to anybody, put my headphones on, like I was just in my zone. And I loved what brought me down was going to the gym, sweating it out, and just like
Mm.
really tapping back into my body, really returning into like my bones and my heartbeat. And again, going back to that, that weirdness, and just a different way. Still keeping that dance aspect there, but just in a different way, and still keeping that ecstatic and conscious dance world. I say it even so now I'm a group fitness instructor and a coach, and all of my dance experience, I'll find myself saying things in class like, return back to your heartbeat. And that all comes from dance. And
Mm.
it's just everything always returns back to dance. But really what kept me back grounded from that trauma was the gym and returning back to the body and doing the body work. And, it's a check-in. Like we honestly, like I say, our phones, all these computers that we get manuals and updates, and do the same thing with your body. Okay. There's nothing wrong with updating.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with a little, like, look at yourself sometimes in the mirror and be like, okay, I don't like this. That's okay. Cause we can totally change it. That's all right. You know what I mean? Like, I was a kid who did not have any any self like image whatsoever. Just in the dance world, I was always told I was too fat, I was too skinny, I was too black, I was too whitewashed, I was too this, I was too that, I was too whatever. And so now I know that like my greatest strength is just being me. Like, so what? Like, little poop there,
Yes.
that's okay. Yeah, I'm gonna work with it and transform that into, you know what I mean? Like, and I think I was telling somebody the other day, like, they were like, "Oh, like you're so confident in giving people like, compliments and stuff." And I think that's what the world is like missing. Like, I don't care if you're my worst enemy. I want to say like, nice eyebrows. Your eyebrows look really good. Okay, like you gotta find something, just something. There was so much negativity these past 2 years, and there was so much going on, and so much to harbor on. Like that little piece of sunshine that you can just spread. Like, do it. Why wouldn't you want to do that? Yeah.
Wow. Dang. I love all of it. Wow, Ryan, you've given me so much good energy right now. I just want to like give it back to you. Give you
Oh, you
ta-da.
too.
Ta-da-da.
Ever since I like met you that one time, Helen, I think we met through like Sarah, our friend, and then I love when women inspire women. I think that is like I just think that's so like to me that is the work right there because I see it all the time of just even people, I don't care if you're a man, woman, or whatever, just putting people down. But the way that you empower women is almost to me like this Beyonce level of consciousness that, like, I mean, even your videos, I'm just like, yeah, fuck yeah, Superwoman. Like, she is
Yeah.
so, even when you're just talking to women, I'm like, I feel like I needed to hear that. You know what I mean? As a man, you know what I mean? It's good to see that. And I just, even women of color, like you're super inspiring. And I've always really looked up to the way that you do things.
Let me pop
You're
my collar real
badass.
quick.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, Ryan, thank you so much. Thank you so much for all the kind words. And I just I'm gonna wrap it up here in a minute, but before I do, so much gratitude and let everybody know where they could find you at.
Yeah. So, on Instagram, I am at Ryan Roman with 3 N's at the end, RyanRomann on Instagram, and then same thing on Facebook, Ryan Roman with the 3 N's. Our sanctuary page is Great Spirit Animal Sanctuary.org. I know, long. But I'm sure Helen can put links up and all that good stuff. Yeah, and then if you just, hashtag Ryan Roman, I should come up. I'm like going through a rebranding and revamping of everything. So yeah, just be on the lookout. I'm super interested in podcasts, and Helen has totally inspired me. Yeah, I thought this would be like nerve-wracking, but it's actually like super chill.
Yeah. All right, everybody. All of Ryan's information will be in the show notes. Thank you so much for joining us. And remember to subscribe, share, and comment. We love you and thank you and appreciate you. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, Helen.